Kumekuwepo na hafla ambayo inaendelea kwa sasa, inaongozwa na waziri wa ugatuzi Eugene Wamalwa kuhusiana na siku ya kesho. Hebu
told that behind every successful man there is a woman. I think this morning we want to say behind every successful woman there is a man. And we must clap for Jason for coming to be here today. And to agree with what Pinky said in correcting O'Brien, when he said women have been given this, women have been given that. I want to tell you, I think the women, not just the women of Kenya, world over, they have not been given anything. They have fought for everything that they have. And this, when you look at the history, my sister Eunice told you, it's been 108 years struggle, all the way to Germany, to Clara. When you go to the US, from the beginning of the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks, when she refused to give up her seat on the bus and started a revolution, all the way to Hillary Clinton, who is still trying to shatter the ceiling. When you come to Africa, all the way from South Africa, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and the struggle for freedom against apartheid, she played a major role. Right here in Kenya, from Mekatalili Wamenza and fighting of the colonialists, all the way to Professor Wangari Maathai, becoming the first woman Nobel Peace Prize holder. It has been a struggle. And when we talk about the 30% rule, many people in this room might not understand the history. There are also women who fought for us to get that 30%. And we started in the 10th Parliament. I remember when I brought a proposal through a bill for amendment to the Procurement Act. It was way back in 2010, the 10th Parliament. I worked very closely with my two sisters, Rachel Shebesh, and we have a very strong lady who has fought for women's rights, children's rights, and she's Millie Odhiambo. I know she has another name, Mabone. Yes. When we brought this bill, it was not easy in the 10th Parliament. And we say to give the women, the youth, and persons with disability a fighting chance in procurement, we must preserve 25%. At that time, the gentleman who was at the Treasury was Uhuru Kenyatta. He was the Minister for Finance. I remember we went to see him on the 10th floor of the National Treasury. And the other day, my sister, Anwar Guru, reminded me that the office I'm holding today was really his office at the time. And we went to negotiate about the bill. And he did tell us that time that he has consulted his bosses. It was during the Grand Coalition government. We had Mwai Kibaki as president. We had Raila Odinga as the prime minister, and they were our bosses. And he said it is not possible now for us to set aside 25%. But I have convinced my bosses that we start with 10% at the time. And that is what we started with. But when he was elected president in 2013, he directed in 2013 that we must set aside 30%. And by 2015, through the amendment of the Procurement Act, and I remember my brother Sakaja, now Senator, Rachel and I had left the 10th Parliament, but he carried on and actually brought that amendment. And we today have it in the law. So it is not a matter of maybe the generosity of the national government or the generosity of any county government to give women or the youth or persons with disability. It does not depend on their generosity. It is a right, it is a requirement of the law of the Republic of Kenya. And we congratulate all those who have fought for it, and we want to assure you of our support as government, particularly a government led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was there from the start and who supported this initiative right from the 10th Parliament up to now. and who has made it clear to all ministries, including my ministry, that we must ensure that we achieve the threshold. And today, because we are here with the Vice Chair of COG, my sister Ann Waiguru, we want to ask her through the COG to see how the counties can also play their role to ensure that we are able to give women, the youth, and persons with disability a fair share of that procurement cake in all counties. If we are able to do that, my sisters, I can tell you, we will be able to transform this country. We will be able to transform our counties. I think it's Kofi Annan who said that there is no tool that is more effective in development than empowerment of women. If we can do this through the existing legal and policy framework, we can be able to achieve it. So I want to thank you and to assure you that the Constitution of Kenya, Article 27, makes it very clear that we cannot and we can no longer allow discrimination in our country against women, and we must bring about equality of opportunity for all, men and women. Also, Article 55 of our Constitution requires affirmative action, as well as Article 56 and 57, for our youth, for persons with disability, and all those who are marginalized, and even the elders in our society, so that they are able to be empowered to participate effectively and meaningfully in our economic, in our political, and all our social spheres. So it is provided for, it is a right, but as we speak, we know that it has not been realized. Many women seated in this room are entrepreneurs, they are struggling. Some of you have worked with the counties. Some of you, as we speak, have not been paid. Maybe you even went out to borrow. Interest is accumulating. You go knocking on doors of government doors, both at the national and the county level. You are not getting your money. And we want to assure you that this is a matter that we are addressing. Just 2 weeks ago, we had IBEC, chaired by His Excellency William Ruto, the Deputy President. And I want to thank Governor Waiguru and all the governors who are there, including Chairman Nanok. We were able to agree that every Kenyan who has labored to get an opportunity to procure and to supply must be paid. That must be done. And we have given 3 months period to ensure that all verification is done. All pending bills must be audited, so that within 90 days after verification and auditing, we must ensure also that the first charge will go to the pending bills, so that all county governments and all ministries are able to pay and ensure that whoever was able to be given a contract, a tender, is paid and they're able to pay their financials. So today, even as you sit here, you might be worried. Maybe you supplied something to Nairobi or Vihiga or maybe Mandera County government, and you are worried if you're going to get your money. That is being addressed, and I want to assure you that it will be done. So I don't want to say much otherwise to thank you and to also encourage you that in the 10th Parliament, I also served as the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs with my sister Rachel and all those who are with us in the 10th Parliament. After I took over from Tula Kilonzo, he tried in achieving the 2/3 gender rule. He did not succeed. After I took over, we tried again. And in the 10th Parliament, we did not succeed. But we are challenging the current crop of parliamentarians that we must keep trying until we achieve that threshold. When you look at even East Africa, for example, Kenya is a regional superpower, economically, militarily, and otherwise. But when it comes to the issues of women, we are the regional dwarfs. Look at Rwanda. In terms of representation in their parliament, they are over 50%. When you go to Tanzania, they are over 35%. Even Uganda, even Burundi, we are doing poorly as a nation. And we must keep challenging our leaders that we must pull up our socks as far as gender issues are concerned, so that we become not just a regional superpower in other matters, and we keep neglecting the issue of women, and this is something that can be done. As I conclude, I remember what Obama said when he came here. And that day I was standing next to Anne. And I remember I was wearing this tie, and she was wearing something quite close. So she was like, "Why did you choose that tie?" I was like, "Okay, I didn't know you were going to wear something." And today, when she walked in, I said, "Anne, what's happening?" But that day, Obama said something. Because that week, CNN had said something about Kenya that was very untrue and unkind. They had said that Kenya was a hotbed of terrorism. But when Obama came here for the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, he said Kenya is really the hotbed of entrepreneurship. And sitting here amongst all of you, I want to confirm that that is who we are. And we're just comparing notes at our table, and we all agree that in Africa, actually, Kenya is leading in entrepreneurship, particularly when it comes to women. And we're here to celebrate you, to celebrate entrepreneurship, to also celebrate innovation. Amongst you are great innovators. I was addressing some conference on young leadership the other day, and I told them they have called Kenya the cradle of mankind because the oldest ancestor of man, the Turkana boy, was found right here in Kenya. But recently, there was another discovery, not by Kenyans. There were some anthropologists from Europe. They discovered tools that were older than the Turkana boy. And we were privileged to accompany His Excellency the President to France to officially hand over this tool to the French Museum of Humanities. And it was agreed by all scholars from Europe, America, and across the globe that these tools found in Kenya showed and confirmed that these were the first signs of human intelligence, that indeed Kenya is not just the cradle of mankind, but it is the cradle of innovation and entrepreneurship. And as we celebrate that, we want to celebrate the women of Kenya for playing their role, and we want to celebrate those who have led. In fact, I was very pleased to see Julie Gishuru here in media. You did us proud, and we're still proud of what you're doing. In the judiciary, I want to celebrate my professional mother. She was called Nancy Baraza, the first Deputy Chief Justice. We want to also celebrate all the women in academia, and in particular, in politics for the first time, we have great women who have made great strides. And amongst them, today, we have Anwe Guru, the governor for Kirinyaga. When you go to Bomet, we have my sister Joyce Laboso, with whom we served in the 10th Parliament. When you go to Kitui, I have my big sister Charity, with whom we served in the last cabinet as the first woman governor in Kitui. And they are the trailblazers. We see more women governors. And we want to encourage, and there are changes that are coming. We're engaging with the Senate about the issue of deputy governors. In these amendments that are coming, we would like to hear the voice of women through the Senate. And I know that there are those who are proposing that as we amend our laws going into the future to provide for appointment of deputy governors, it can be such a landmark step if in our legislation we can be bold enough to say, as we have struggled to achieve the 2/3 gender rule, We can't be able to say when we have a man governor, we should have a woman deputy,